Heading into week 14 of the fantasy football season. I know, I can't believe it's week 14, but we are here. We're nearing the end of the fantasy season. Playoffs are soon. You need to get a W. And I have the impossible task of trying to tell you who to start and sit at the tight end position. I'm going to do my best. Do me a favor. Drop a like, subscribe, and why don't you comment down below and let me know your most difficult start decision heading into week 14. Keep in mind, a lot of tight ends are on bye right now. The Falcons are on bye, the Bears and Cole Kmet are on bye, the Packers are on bye, the Colts, the Saints, the Commanders, a lot of teams on bye. You need some help. I'm going to try and help you. All right, my first start of the week is Gerald Everett versus the Dolphins. He's been very up and very down, but honestly, if we could go back to the draft, I would wait until the last round or last couple rounds and draft Gerald Everett and try and get a steal, because he's been more consistent than a lot of tight ends that we thought would be breakouts this year. He's coming off a game versus the Raiders where he put up 13 fantasy points. He had 6 targets, caught 5 of them. Now he has a matchup versus the Dolphins, who give up the third most points to the position. And this should be a high scoring affair. Tua injured his ankle at the end of that game versus San Fran, but all reports that he's going to be just fine. He will play this week. I believe it's a Sunday night football game as well. So this is going to be a hype matchup. Both defenses not performing the way that they would want to, giving up tons of points. 2 high-powered offenses with great quarterbacks. Gerald Everett should have enough relevancy to be a good start this week, but we know how the tight end position goes. It's a great matchup, and that's how we have to kind of base these decisions. My second start of the week is a tight end who played really poorly last week versus Buffalo. That is Hunter Henry. He now faces the Cardinals, and Arizona is actually the best matchup for fantasy tight ends right now. They give up the most points to tight ends on a weekly basis per game. Hunter Henry, 2 games in a row where he's had at least 5 targets. Now, in week 12, he converted on those targets. He had 15 fantasy points. Last week, he did not convert on those targets. However, this is a matchup in which they should allow Mac Jones to throw the ball a little bit more. We anticipate Arizona, now that they have a healthy Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown, and D-Hop all together, we anticipate them being able to make this a competitive game. So Hunter Henry, again, all we can do is look at good matchups and pick a tight end at this point. So I think he could have a good game. He's always a threat for the end zone. Let's give it a go here with him. A tight end that I feel very confident about, and honestly, there's only 2 other tight ends, maybe 1 other tight end that I like more this week. TJ Hawkinson at the Lions. Not only is this a revenge game, like he's going back home, but the matchup itself is incredible. The Lions give up the 4th most points to the fantasy tight end position. And since he's been traded to Minnesota, he hasn't seen a single game under 6 targets. He's been really, really good for fantasy. I'll start Travis Kelce over TJ Hawkinson this week. Outside of that, I'm starting TJ Hawkinson, and that includes Mark Andrews. With no Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews is still going to be fantastic. He'll be the number 1 option, but I have more confidence in TJ Hawkinson and this offense in an incredible matchup this week versus the Lions. It's a revenge game. Hawkinson should have a great game. I'm expecting 15 points, tight end 2 type performance. Anything can happen, but I think he could be really, really good. All right, my 4th start of the week. It's been, again, really up, really down for this guy, and that is Jorge Kittle versus the Bucks. The matchup is really what I'm focusing on. I know there's a lot of uncertainties at the quarterback position, but I like this matchup. The Bucks give up the 5th most points to the fantasy tight end position. Again, you have to pick and choose which players you're going to start at the tight end position. But with Kittle, he's just an auto start. Typically, if you have him, maybe he has a good game, maybe he doesn't, but it would be impossible to find a tight end on the waiver wire who has a higher upside than Jorge Kittle. All right. And lastly, to end the video, I'm going to give you 2 sits of the week. Firstly, Tyler Conklin at the Bills. Buffalo currently give up the 7th fewest points to the position. They're the same team that shut down Hunter Henry last week and only gave up 3 fantasy points. Tyler Conklin saw the targets this week with 7 versus Minnesota, but he only caught 2 of them. And this defense is a lockdown defense, especially as they're starting to get more and more healthy, even though they just lost Von Miller. And my last sit of the week is Noah Fant. I know he's coming off a very good game where he put up 14 fantasy points, but that's his highest of the year, his second highest of the year. And there's no consistency in this tight end room whatsoever. Sometimes it's Will Disley, Parkinson's, Fant. There's just no consistency. There's no trends that we can follow, and it's too risky of a play versus a good defense against tight ends. The Panthers give up the 10th fewest points to the position. So again, I'm not starting Noah Fant. I think there are better options out there. So why don't you let me know what tight end you're starting this week in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe, and we will see you in a future one here very soon.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.